Introducing aPriori.
Hi, this is Leah Archibald live at aPriori's 2022 Manufacturing Insights Conference with Abe Chaves, who is a collaborative guy himself, and he's going to talk to us about supplier collaboration. Or first of all, tell me the state of the market. What is the problem that many manufacturers face?
Where do I begin, right? I mean, right now it's a lot of supply chain issues. They either can't get enough capacity or their suppliers to get their parts on time, or if they have to bring them from faraway places, they're having logistics problems. And then the prices of materials are going up and down like an aerobatic aircraft, right? To the point where you can't predict what your margins are going to be if most of your cost is in actually raw materials. So many challenges that they're facing today.
So it sounds like these would naturally pit OEMs against their suppliers, but you are going to argue for increased collaboration in that relationship. Why? Why is collaboration actually the solution to a lot of these challenges?
Right. Collaboration is really the solution to a lot of the challenges, because unless you work together, sometimes you can't get to the root cause of the problem. When working with the supplier, you can figure out why is there that there is a difference in there, right? So maybe there is something you didn't know about your part. Maybe it's something, a requirement that shouldn't be there, that the supplier thinks should be there, right? So we had a situation where somebody was stamping a part in different stages, and they were testing the part. They were checking the part against a master at every stage, and that was doubling the cycle time. So that requirement was meant to be there just the first few months until they got the line stable, but there'd been a couple of years and the supplier was still doing it. Nobody told the supplier to stop. And so the part was more expensive, but unless you get down to the details and you figure out the root cause of why there is a difference, right? Then you can actually work out the differences without having to fight with your supplier.
It sounds like the increase in transparency in the relationship really brings value both to the manufacturer and the supplier. But at the same time, that you need data to make that transparency work. You need real verifiable numbers, and they can only come from accurate models.
Correct. And aPriori has invested a lot of time and money in developing very good cost models for most of the manufacturing processes out there. And then furthermore, if you want to invest in a little bit of customization, we can actually configure our models to fit your exact situation, right?
Now, if you're a manufacturer and you've just adopted the aPriori solution, how do you go about really proving to your suppliers that either these models are directionally accurate, that are based on good averages, or to bring in your suppliers to customize those models? How do you start that conversation with goodwill?
So maybe you start with some of the parts where the model actually reflected a good cost. If this is true for this part, let's take this outlier here. Help me understand, why is it that this one has such a big gap, right? If material is this, if this is that, right? And then you'll find out that in some cases they're doing something that you didn't think they were doing. We have found that, a part is being machined when it should have been really just cut from a plate and just a hole drill in the middle. But it's being machined completely, right? So sometimes the suppliers are doing things differently than the way that you thought they were doing them, right? So in verifying the process and the aPriori model versus what the supplier is doing, you bring in the confidence of the supplier up, right, at the same time that you are building that relationship with them.
And I imagine this is only going to get more important in the year ahead. 2022 saw so many disruptions in terms of supply chain issues, global material shortages. So having good relationships with your suppliers who you need your parts to come is only going to get more important as we go forward.
Exactly right. It's all about priorities, and if suppliers only have a limited amount of capacity, they have to choose at some point which part I'm going to be late on. I've been a supplier, right? I've been a supplier, and I've been in those shoes where One machine went down, right? I lost capacity. I know I'm going to be late on some parts. Which parts am I going to be late on? And the customers that have the best relationship are usually the ones that get the priority, and the ones that don't are usually the ones that get their parts late, basically, right?
This is super exciting. Well, Abe, thank you for this conversation today.
Thank you.
aPriori, making profitability and sustainability a reality for a better world.